Guys, trying to book a restaurant reservation is the pits. Like, restaurants are always fully booked. I thought we were all broke. I thought we were all poor. Turns out we're not. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, thank you very much for coming by. I hope you decide to stay. And if you're not new, you know the drill. Thank you very much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. So I haven't done a sit down video in a very long time, like in a very long time. I think the last couple of videos that I've filmed have been vlogs mostly, so it feels kind of weird to sit down and actually talk to myself. But anyway, as you guys can see by the title of this video, this is a makeup tutorial. So a couple of weeks ago I had a book club meeting, and there's like an icy eye look that I was sort of experimenting with, and I decided that I should actually recreate it for this tutorial. So one thing about me is that when it comes to eyeshadows, I always keep it very neutral and very natural. I don't like bold colors on my eyes because I feel like my eyes are already big as is, and anything bold, anything that's not neutral, just attracts like so much attention to my eyes. So I don't like that. But every once in a while I do go out of my comfort zone and put something more bolder on my eyes, and this is what this video is a tutorial about. I'm just going to recreate that look and go through the steps and the process and everything. Before we get into the tutorial, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please go ahead and do subscribe. I mean, I've got a couple of videos out as we speak. Like, there's quite a number of videos that you can catch up on and get to know me and stuff like that. Ugh. Guys, I don't know, but I don't know if this is just me, but whenever I have bubbles, I get so gassy. I get so gassy, and I love them so much, but they make me gassy like crazy, and it's the most annoying thing ever. But anyway, if you did like this tutorial, please do give me a thumbs up, comment in the comment section down below, suggest stuff. I always say, guys, please suggest what you would like me to film, and I don't get any suggestions. Like, I don't get anything from you guys. I recently actually got some items from Shein, and boy did they give me hell this time around. But I am gonna film a haul about my Shein, my latest Shein experience, and the stuff that I got as well. So that's coming up real soon. My lips are so ashy. They are really so ashy. So I'm gonna start with my eyes, the star of the show, of course, and I'm gonna use my Beauty Glazed Sunset Dusk palette. I've used this palette before in a tutorial, and I did link where you can buy this palette on AliExpress in that video. What I am going to do now is I'm going to pack on, ooh, my brushes are so dirty. Like, I'm so embarrassed of how dirty my brushes are. I never have the time to clean my brushes, and it's not okay, so bad. But anyway, I'm going to use, the palette is a bit butchered, but I'm going to use these two browns over here and pack them onto the outer corners of my eyelids, and this is just to create part of the transition. And using a fluffy dirty brush, it's not really dirty, I just cleaned it with some alcohol, but yeah, I'm gonna pack that on the outer corners of both eyes. So I'm just packing it on for now. I'm not blending it because I'm gonna use an orange shade to blend that brown, you know. And also, I'm not bringing the brown all the way to my inner corners because I don't want like darkness there. I don't want it to be too dark there, and I want the color that I'm going to pack onto my eyelids to be the main color showing on the inner corners. I don't know if that makes sense, but you'll see as I go. So I'm just repeating that on this side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blend out that brown on the outer edges. So the outer edges of that color I'm going to blend out with an orange, and this is to create a bit of a transition, as well as try to eliminate the harshness of that brown, because just packing eyeshadow onto your eyes and not blending it out properly or not transitioning it isn't that much of a nice look. So this is just to create that transition effect between the two colors on my eyelid. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to use these two orange shades over here and a fluffy brush. So I'm blending the outer edges of that brown, and I don't know if you guys can see, but it kind of sort of creates a bit of a transition, which is a very pretty effect to have on your eyelids. And I'm just blending it. Okay, that was a bit much. And with this shade, I'm actually blending it inward because it's not too dark, so it will still give me the effect that I want, but without making it like too harsh. So I don't mind blending this all the way in. I think the transition is done, and I don't know if you guys can see the effect of the two colors on my eyelids, but that's basically what transitioning is all about. Now I'm going to cut my crease and apply that eyelid color. So the concealer that I'm using to cut my crease is this white concealer from LA Girl. It has a silvery shiny-ish undertone, which I wasn't expecting, but it worked for the purpose of this look. So that's what I'm going to use to cut my crease. So I'm going to cut my crease from my inner corners up till just after half of my eyelid, if that makes sense. And I have hooded eyes, and a trick to cut your crease when you have hooded eyes is to put the concealer on the tip, or not the tip, to put it on the lower part of your eyelid, just close to your lash line, and look up. And that will guide you as to where you should cut your crease. So that is the crease cut, and now with my flat brush over here, I'm just going to spray it a bit and pack this shade over here, this white shade, and this is what's going to give this look that icy effect that I was talking about. I'm going to pack it all over my eyelid where I cut my crease. Now for darkening the outer corners of my eyes, I am going to dip into a black eyeshadow shade and just pack that on the outer corners of the eyeshadow. And I'm also going to bring it a bit, just a little bit above that white over there, to intensify the transition that I created. And then I'm just going to blend out those colors, also bringing in that black by blending it out with the same side that I applied the brown with. Yeah, I think the lighting might have gone a bit crazy while I was doing my eye look. I'm so sorry about that. So now that the eyes are done for now, I've already primed my face using the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. And I love that primer so much. It's literally the only primer that I use. I'm gonna go in now to my foundation, but before I do that, listen, this is actually very important. So because I get oily throughout the day and we wear masks and stuff like that, so there's a trick that I saw on YouTube. I actually saw it on Jackie Aina's channel, and basically what she does before her putting on her makeup is she would put on some translucent powder on her face. And the translucent powder that I'm going to use is that one over there from Revlon. And I'm going to put that all over my face before putting on any foundation. And this also helps with preventing your makeup from smudging whenever you're wearing a mask. So I'm going to put that translucent powder everywhere where I sort of oil up while wearing makeup, and the areas where my mask would normally sit, as well as my smile lines and any other lines on my face as well, which is the lines under my eyes, because those tend to crease my makeup. So I'm just going to put some translucent powder over there as well. Okay, so now that that's done, there's something new that I've introduced to my makeup routine, and before I put on my foundation, I just like to add a little bit of some glow to my face just before the foundation. And I literally discover one of these every single time I go and buy makeup. Every single time I go and buy makeup, I always discover a new product or a new brand of glow drops. And the one that I recently discovered is the Liquid Drip. These are glow drops from the Scarlet Heel range, which you can find at Mr. Price, and they're very affordable. They're like 50 Rand, and I've used these glow drops before. What I like about this one specifically is that it really matches my skin tone. So you know what, I'm gonna use it forever until I find another one, of course, but I put that on all the areas which have that natural glow already. So I'm just gonna put that all over there. And what I like about these glow drops specifically is that they're not hard to blend out. Like the consistency is very watery, and it blends out very easily, and it blends out like literally to my skin tone. Okay, perfect. So the two foundations that I'm going to be using today is the L'Oreal 24-Hour Fresh Wear, L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear foundation, and this is in the shade 340 Copper. I have mentioned before that this foundation is a bit yellowy, so I can't use it alone, and I'm going to mix it with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation as well. Very popular foundation, and this one is in the shade 356. I do think that it's slightly darker, it's slightly dark for my skin tone, but because I'm mixing it with a foundation that has sort of like a yellowy undertone, it kind of works well. So I'm gonna shake that. It doesn't come with a pump, and I'm gonna put that all over my face. They have these mini sized ones, which I think is so great because you can pack them like in your travel bag. They're very travel friendly, so I think it's really, really cute, and they're obviously cheaper than the normal sized foundations, which are already cheap. Like Maybelline Fit Me is already cheap. Let me not say cheap, affordable. Maybelline Fit Me is already affordable. So I'm just gonna put a bit of that foundation there, and then do the same with the L'Oreal Infallible. And then I haven't used a brush to blend out foundation in the longest time, and that's because whenever I'm doing my makeup, I don't have the time to apply the makeup with the brush and then go in again with a beauty blender. But for the purpose of this video and for the purpose of actually saving product as well, it's very wise to do both. If you've got the time to do it, you can do it. So I'm just gonna spray my brush with a bit of setting spray and just blend that all out. Now that I'm done blending with the foundation brush, I'm going to use a damp beauty blender just to make sure that the foundation is looking flawless. So that's done. Now I'm going to move on to highlighting my face. And to highlight my face, I'm using my nearly finished On the Verge of Death Eligo Pro HD Concealer in the shade Fawn. So when you highlight your face, you highlight under your eyes. And because I have more of a... I've got a long face. I think I've got a long oval face. When I apply concealer under my eyes, I apply it this way because I want my face to look a bit wider, as opposed to applying it downwards because I don't want my face to look longer than it already is. So that's also a tip and trick when you're applying anything on your face. You need to understand your face. So that's under my eyes, above my top lip, my chin a bit, and the bridge of my nose. I don't apply any concealer to my forehead because I already feel like I've got a big forehead and I don't want to accentuate that anymore than it already is. I'm just going to blend the concealer from the rest of the face onto my forehead. So I'm going to let that concealer sit for a minute or two just to make sure that it has like maximum coverage and it doesn't move around, because it's also got like a watery consistency. So when you blend it from the get-go, it's going to remove a lot of the product from those areas that you applied it to. So just let it sit for a minute or so. So that concealer has sat for a while. I'm gonna blend it with the same damp beauty blender that I blended my foundation, but I'm gonna blend it on a clean side. I literally jam Afro beats every single time I do my makeup, without a doubt. I don't know, I feel like they just put you in a mood and I love that mood. I've blended all that concealer out, and because I feel like sometimes I just want to have under my eyes look like a bit lighter, I always go in with an even lighter shade of concealer, and this is in the shade Cool Tan, and I just applied a bit to my under eyes, and this is just to add a bit, like a touch of brightness, just a little bit. And then while I let that sit, I'm gonna contour my face. To contour, I'm using this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour. So I'm gonna apply that to all the areas which you contour, which is your cheekbones, the bridge of your nose a bit, and a bit on your forehead. Because this concealer dries up very, very fast, I always blend immediately. Just a little bit on the bridge of my nose. I don't like the contour on the bridge of my nose looking too harsh as well. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit. Like literally a little bit. And I'm going to blend it all the way up to my eyebrows because that's how your nose is defined anyway. And I'm just going to blend out that concealer that I allowed to sit for a bit under my eyes. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to set the areas which I have highlighted using the same translucent powder that I used earlier. And I really like this translucent powder because it doesn't leave you looking ashy, it doesn't leave you looking gray, it's not hard to blend out, and most importantly, like, it doesn't give you any kind of flashback. So using my beauty blender again, I'm going to apply that translucent powder to all the areas that I highlighted. Now that I'm letting that powder just to sit for a little bit, I'm going to set the areas that I contoured using this random bronzer that I got at Dischem. And normally if I cream contour, I don't like to set my cream contour with powder because I find it very, very redundant, and I feel like it just makes me look very, very cakey if I use a cream contour and then set with a powder contour and then add bronzer on top of all of that. If I didn't cream contour and I powder contoured, I would use the powder and the bronzer, but I never use all three of them because it's a bit too much for me. So those are all of the areas that I contoured. I also like bringing a bit down on my jawline. And the next step now is to remove or dust off all of that translucent powder as well as set my entire face. What I'm going to use to do that is the Yardley loose powder in the shade Caramelised. So this powder looks really light for me, and I like to set my face with a powder that's a bit dark, because then it sort of like cancels out for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just, you know, over exaggerating, but it kind of sort of cancels out any sort of imperfections when it comes to colors on your face. And I'm just setting the areas which I didn't contour or highlight and dusting off that excess powder from my face. And this also helps with bringing your whole makeup look together, you know. So when you set your whole face, you actually bring just everything together. So before I add any blush, I just want to do my bottom lash line, which completes the eye look. And I'm going to start by adding a bit of some black eyeliner to the bottom lash line. Not a lot, just a bit. And now I'm just gonna blend it a bit with some eyeshadow. Going back to the palette that I used earlier on, I'm gonna go into that brown that I used as part of my transition shade and just blend out that eyeliner. I'm also going to use some of the orange that I used as well in my transition shade, just to blend out that brown and to eliminate any kind of harshness. I'm going to use my Avon Prep and Set spray just to spray a bit of my face before I add blush and highlighter and mascara and my lashes. So for blush, I'm going to go into my palette over here and just mix an orange and a red in that palette. You know, you don't need a separate blush. I don't think you need a separate blush. You can literally use eyeshadow as blush. I mean, they're all powders, so they pretty much work the same. And then for highlighter, I'm using my Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighter. It is my favorite highlighter, although sometimes I do feel like it can be a bit much. I'm not very much of a highlighter girl, really. So I don't apply that much of it because it's very pigmented. So I highlight the apples of my cheeks, the tip of my nose, and the bridge of my nose. I highlight a bit of my brow bone, a bit of my forehead, my cupid's bone, and a bit of my chin. So before we go to the lips, I just want to apply some lashes and some mascara as well. The mascara that I'm using today is my newfound favorite. This is actually a very good mascara. I really like it. I just discovered it recently. I actually just bought it recently and I really do love it. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. It's also very affordable too, and I like it because it's got like a bit of a thin brush, so that works if you want length and volume, and it also helps you to get into those lashes that are a bit harder to apply mascara on. So I just finished putting my lashes on and I'm just going to move on to my lips, and I'm going to start by lining my lips with this black eyeliner that I used earlier on, and I'm going to use it to line the center of my top and my bottom lip. Using a brown liner, I'm just going to blend that all out to the outer corners of my lips. With this Maybelline Sensational Liquid Matte Lipstick, I'm just going to apply that to my lips. So I'm definitely not going to leave my lips like this because I'm very much into glossy looks. So I am going to apply a gloss over that, and the gloss that I'm applying is the Essence Shine lip gloss. So that is all done. I'm just going to set my face with the Maybelline Lasting Fix Setting Spray. This is also something that I bought just recently and I am in love. Like, I really love the setting spray. So guys, this is the finished look. I did go off camera just to wear like a bit of a decent t-shirt. This is an off-shoulder white shirt thingy-majiggy that I got from Shein, and I also put on some accessories just to complete the look. But yeah, this is the finished look. I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. Please let me know what you thought about it, and if you want me to film more videos like this in the near future. And like this video as well if you enjoyed it, and of course if you're at this point of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know, please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I will see you all in my next video.